Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Most of you know who I am. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is KrimsonKreamer, and today is a very special day because Street Fighter V just got its definitive update, and this is probably one of the best updates to this game by far, adding a lot of balance adjustments, some new features and stuff, and I want to show them off to you guys and just, you know, talk about what we got going on. So first of all, they added a new filter addition to the game where they added cell shading, and then there's also pixelated filter. Nobody likes the pixelated filter, but everybody loves the cell shading, including me. Unfortunately, it's only in offline mode, but hopefully this is a feature that they added to Street Fighter 6. But the real stuff that I wanted to talk about is all the balance adjustments and whatnot that they added to the characters. Now, there's a lot of characters in this game, and it's too many to go over each and every single one of them. But I wanted to go over the 5 characters that I play mostly in this game and the stuff that they got added to them and whatnot. And it's something that, you know, like I said, I'm excited for this, and I really hope that everyone who plays this, it's like, you know, it's gonna add a new dynamic to the game with all the balance adjustments and whatnot. And the 5 characters I wanted to talk about were Ryu, Ed, Kage, Dan, and Book. You've seen the trailer, you've seen maybe about 3 out of the 5 of these guys within the trailer, and all of like their updated stuff, and I just kind of wanted to briefly go over all 5 of these guys and what they have. So first, you can see here with Ryu, he has a lot of changes, as he normally does with all of these balance updates, that he always gets super buffed to the point where it's like, is it really a buff because he's still so not viable? But I feel like this is probably going to make him the most viable. I could sit here and go over all the numbers and stuff for you guys, and, you know, while this means a lot to me, it's not going to mean a lot to you. So luckily they added a balance change overview for us to read, so that way I can easily explain it to you guys, and it's a little bit easier for everyone to understand. So I'm going to go over this and then show some gameplay of it. It was difficult to utilize Ryu effectively at mid to long range when facing opponents who had superior reach or possessed effective projectile countermeasures. In response, we have boosted attack power and strike continuity for the mid-range options that he specializes in, enabling him to take better advantage of his strength against opponents where it was previously hard to do so. Firstly, his main Hadouken attack, we added increased damage and also boosted the speed of the heavy version, making it more difficult for opponents to deal with. In addition, the crush counter for the standing HP, as well as the effect of successful hit with the thrust strike V skill, have been improved, making them more effective countermeasures against an opponent with a longer reach. Also, Ryu can now perform follow attacks when unleashing an early anti-air L Shoryuken, and it is easier to initiate full contact when using an air versus air EX Airborne Tatsumaki Senpuyaku, giving him some high reward options for dealing with mid-air opponents while trying to keep them in check. Basically what they did is that they increased his Hadouken, they made the heavy version a little bit more harder to deal with, they gave his crush counter a little bit more, you know, oomph to it, and they added some stuff to his thrust strike V skill, which I'm super excited for because that's one that I was kind of like on and off about. But with the added bonuses of the thrust strike V skill combined in junction with his V trigger 2 that I like, this is actually going to make him a little bit more viable, at least with those options, so not everyone is running just straight counter. Well, straight counter or straight parry is a more effective way to go for this character. This is just adding a different set of move skills, because with the parry, you're kind of able to parry both, you know, close range and mid-ranged options. But with the thrust strike, if you get the parry on a close range option, it obviously follows up with a counter. So it kind of makes it a little, it's kind of even when you do both of them at the same time. So be that as it may, I think thrust strike, we're going to see a lot more of that, at least in competitive. If not, it's too bad, but, you know, it's a cool move, and I definitely think doing what they did with it, where in conjunction with V trigger 2, where it does wall bounce, is definitely good for follow-up combos. Alrighty, I want to talk about Ed. Ed, I was super excited about when I saw what they did with him, and look at this, he's got like a double paragraph compared to Ryu. Ed has excellent moves such as Psycho Flicker, which is great for keeping opponents in check, and a swift forward dash that can be linked to throws and other offensive moves. However, since these moves do not deal very much damage on their own, it was difficult to win a match without taking any damage. Therefore, we have added some new moves and also increased the vulnerability of an opponent after a throw, thereby keeping edge strength while creating opportunities to deal additional damage. The new EX Psycho Knuckle is a follow-up move to Psycho Knuckle, which is great at controlling the surrounding area and also in combos due to its ability to land a punch. It is a convenient move when you wish to send your opponent flying and take control of the screen, or as a move to stun or then take down your opponent. It can also be cancelled in the V-Trigger 2, so it is possible to aggressively attack from above the opponent's guard. If there was even a slight delay in releasing the button after inputting the command for the release version of Psycho Snatcher, ground-air, the startup was delayed. Therefore, we have adjusted the timing for transitioning to the attack action so that it can be easier to quickly launch and attack. As a result of this adjustment, the release version of Psycho Snatcher, Air, is now easier to use in an anti-air technique or as part of an air combo. Performing a wake up after getting hit is an excellent move, so having more opportunities to perform it gives you more chances to inflict damage to your opponent. Now, these balances are really sick, especially with the new EX Psycho Knuckle, added a new special move performed with double P after Psycho Flicker. So basically you can perform Psycho Flicker, and then if you press 2 punches afterwards, you perform EX Psycho Knuckle. So it just kind of adds more to that combo and kind of just doesn't leave you, getting off a quick 1, 2, 3. It just gives you more follow-up, which is good for this character. He didn't really have a lot in terms of combos. You basically kind of had to string all of his specials and stuff together to be able to do anything. So this just adds a little bit more variety along with these other patch notes and stuff that they added to his combos and movesets. Another one that I was really looking forward to was Kage. In Kage's trailer, his Hadoukens had, range on them, so okay, he can now shoot regular fireballs or maybe something close to Akuma. And basically, they kind of did do that. Kage was designed for explosive close combat, but his short reach made it difficult for him to deal damage to opponents even slightly away from him. To rectify this, we have adjusted the performance of normal moves used in combos. As long as Kage is somewhat close, he can unleash his characteristic powerful attacks. We also improved his mid to long range game out of consideration for his low vitality. Kage improved checks allow him for more choices for dealing damage and decreased battle difficulty. Special moves in particular have been adjusted for this purpose, with each strength version of Hadouken having undergone alterations. The stronger the version, the slower the startup, but controversy, the stronger the version, the longer the reach. These changes allow Kage to adjust his checks and handle opponents at various distances accordingly. Additionally, Airborne Hadouken now explodes after traveling a set distance. This explosion easily hits grounded opponents, help deter jumps, and keep opponents from moving around. Furthermore, Ryu Kotsuaku is slightly reduced hurtbox before starting up, making it easier to stomp on opponents aiming for Kage's feet. We have also touched up V-Trigger 2. Having a 3-bar gauge can be a hassle for Kage, but we've made adjustments to make the payoff worth the effort. Activating V-Trigger 2 enhances heavy Hadouken and heavy Rizuku-Aku, making a big impact on Kage's movement. Mitsugi can now combo from EX Ryozaku regardless of its passivity. Furthermore, the minimum guarantee damage is 30% of the base damage. This ensures Kage will inflict high damage regardless of combo scaling. The critical art Metsu Shoryuken can hit high opponents, and if it doesn't trigger the cutscene, Kage can follow up when opponents hit the ground. Using successful attacks to hit high allows Kage to perform combos that further continue his offensive. These changes are extraordinary. I always liked Kage, but being able to play him effectively was very hard, especially for the little moveset that he had. He was kind of like Dan before Dan was even thought of being put in this game. So giving him all of this just makes him feel like a better character. It makes him feel more like, a combination of Ryu and Akuma. I'm super excited about this update, and I just can't wait to play him online with this. This is going to be so much fun. Speaking of Dan, here's Dan. All of his updates are really sick and interesting. They kind of just made him a little bit more viable as well, and I just wanted to, let's go over it. To keep combos from Dan's V-Skill 2, Psycheo style, Oto Kopite, I can't read, Otoko Bowie. From being too powerful, his normal attacks were set to be a bit weak. However, we have fixed this, as they were noted discrepancies in power between him and other characters. These adjustments boost Dan's V-Skill 2 and also increased the parts that don't depend on V-Skill 2. V-Skill 1, Psycho Style, that is now a more viable option to utilize. V-Trigger 1, Hogadoken, now takes better advantage of Dan's single bar V-Gauge. Until now, Dan had long disadvantages on whiff and few opportunities to use his advantages on guard, making it hard to find openings to use his V-Trigger. However, now that it can be activated with ease, players don't have to worry over wasted or hoarded V-Gauge. If incorporated into a combo, its combo counter is now fixed on hit, allowing for easy follow-ups without being affected by the previous combo. Though reduced from multiple hits to 3 hits, the move now has anti-projectile opportunities until the 3rd hit. The anti-projectile property promises to come in handy in mid-range battles. Again, they just kind of made Dan a little bit more effective with all of his movesets and whatnot. Definitely boosting his Go Hadouken V-Trigger 1 is good because that's the one that I use a lot, and a lot of people are like, why do you use that one? It's not really effective. Now they made it effective, so that makes something like me who plays that feel a little bit better about themselves. And finally, I want to talk about Luke. Now, the thing with Luke is that they didn't do anything good to him. In fact, they kind of nerfed him. They nerfed/buffed him. So they basically, Luke was a little bit overpowered when he first came out, being a new character and all, not really knowing what they were going to do with him. He kind of just felt like, top tier material. But now they kind of, brought him down to everybody else's level. He's a little bit more vulnerable with his attacks, but they kind of did and changed some stuff up so that way he's a little bit better. And here's the overview. Luke is stocked with well-performing offensive and defensive moves. While his high combo damage and special move combos in particular made his offense formidable, when compared to characters with lesser stats, the difference between the two is obvious. The invincible EX Rising Rocket and other moves exemplify the degree of Luke's tight defenses. Luke's vitality and stun values, which were a bit above average before, are now reduced. In addition, moves that are over controlled opponents and movements are adjusted downward. Crouching MK, with its longer reach and greater returns, now has increased risks of whiff. Sandblaster, known to be difficult to handle due to its high-speed projectiles, has decreased damage and pushback. Instead of weakening moves that functioned as deterrents at mid to long range, we have adjusted them to have better payoff at close range. We have also adjusted Luke's unique V-timer in this same standard. Luke's V-Trigger 1 and 2 both consume V-timer over time and controversially recover it with each successful hit. Additionally, we've reduced the advantages of V-Trigger 1 fully armed due to the controversial advantage it had at long-range maneuvers. Controversially, we've increased the merits of V-Trigger 2, Vanguard, due to it increasing attack power on approach. EX Impaler has a new hitbox that hits mid-air opponents at the beginning of the attack. It can also now combo into held light flash knuckle, which trouts numerous opportunities to land hits. Using the medium strength attack activates a surprise attack, which can also be used for combo parts. Furthermore, we adjusted the forward jump motion, as it was hard to differentiate from vertical jumps at certain times. So like I said, they kind of nerfed Luke a little bit to make him a little bit more viable, but at the same time, it isn't that big of a deal to where it's going to deter me from wanting to play Luke. It's just going to make me feel a little less scummier when I use him against people while he was, brand new. Now people knew what he did, and he was kind of put above the pedestal above everyone else. But with these balance adjustments, it's going to, kind of take me away from playing Luke and, want to play Dan, want to play Kage, Ed, Ryu, all these other characters that I do play, making it, giving me a little bit more variety to the characters that I do want to play, while not taking too much away from the one that I've been playing all the time. Overall, this update is amazing, and I can't wait to be playing with you guys and showing off more stuff with this. But what do you think about these balances and updates? What characters did you like from this update? If you looked at the patch notes and what, let me know in the comments below. We can discuss it. If you want to discuss more on this, you can also talk to me on my Discord. The link is down below. And you can also follow me on Twitter. I always retweet and post stuff over there as well, so be sure to do that as well. And as always, this video is brought to you by Ahoy Print. Ahoy Print is the awesome printing and sticker company that I work with, and they do awesome work. We just held a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament this past weekend, and it did awesome. And they also made a poster for me, and it's very much Street Fighter themed. So if you like Street Fighter and you like Street Fighter themed stuff, definitely go check that out. If you use code Crimson at checkout, you get 10% off your order. So be sure to, guys, go and do that. But anyway, I'm gonna get up out of here. I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, good gaming. God bless, go beyond, and keep on keeping on.